Howdy.
Hello.
Hey, happy Thursday to you people out there, or whatever day it is you chose to watch this video. This is our virtual tasting that we do every week. We do it here live and in person on Thursdays at 6 o'clock. And we have great turnouts, but this COVID thing has got a lot of people still not ready to come back, and so we have this video every week.
Yeah, we're still, looks like we're a month or two out before we get any real traction on a lot of vaccines. I mean, you see every day people are getting vaccines, but looks like we're probably springtime before we have mass inoculation.
Right, and
and that's okay.
That's okay with us because we've found that we're video stars in the making.
It's hard to even go out in public.
We never would have known if COVID hadn't come along. So what a silver lining. Now, I mean, I know we had at least 20 viewers last week.
Oh yeah, and we had one week was like 37.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have to, you gotta like think about how you're gonna leave buildings and what what the route's gonna be because the paparazzi
they're terrible.
Adoring fans.
They're terrible. Yeah. Well, we got a couple of beauties here for you. We hope you had a great week. I know Chef Chris snuck away for a couple of days with his beautiful wife. I got to go down and see my dad and brother and stepmom and play games and do a very late Christmas. Christmas got all disrupted because
you expanded Christmas.
Expanded, yes.
It wasn't enough for a couple of days. You
right, yeah. We kept it rolling into mid-January, and that's okay.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. If anybody else, honest, actually, you know what? I still do need to celebrate Christmas with my cousins. So Christmas technically still isn't complete in my family yet.
You know what? January ought to be Christmas. The whole month.
Yeah. Well, January's a loser month.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to make the best of it. We need to turn this thing around.
Yep. Let's do that. So we're going to start. Well, since we're celebrating everything.
Oh, I mean,
why not? Hey, boom! We're going to go right to the bubbles then. And this is a little hidden gem, Santa Julia. Now, I used to sell their wines up at Old Mill. They're still wines, great by the glass kind of house wine stuff. And interesting enough, they're all organic. Their whole line is organic, and that's just something that's not super common. And I hate to say this, but a lot of times organic wines just aren't something I want to drink because it's organic to be organic and not to be delicious. And I think this will change. It changed my mind. This brand, this line from Mendoza changed my mind. We're looking at a $15 bottle here, and absolutely beautiful presentation. Has to be heavy glass to handle the carbonation, of course, but just spectacular. You'd put this on par with any great bubbly Prosecco, Cava. Absolutely delicious and great marketing, but it also is organic. That's a bonus.
I'm telling you, that is very cool. You do see, you don't see a lot of the high-end places go organic.
No, you don't. And it really, if they do, it's just because they just happen to be in an exceptional place that doesn't need any kind of pesticides or fungicides, and they're just blessed with a perfect terroir that doesn't need it.
I love those. I think Schaefer was one of them. I love those wineries that bring in all those apex predators.
Yeah.
And they build them homes in their vineyards so they naturally get all the eat the bugs and the rodents and all those things. Yep. And like some of the red tail hawk Chardonnay. Yeah,
we were also talking, or actually we served. I guess it was probably a year and a half ago now. We did it was the owl and the dirt devil.
That's right.
And the little dirt devils kept the grapes dry, and the owls protected the grapes from the bird predators.
And they both are vivacious bug eaters too. I mean, so they.
Oh yeah.
So I just love that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Just putting the whole little cycle of life out there, ecosystem.
Well,
regulate itself.
Well, too many times. We, the people of, we think we're smarter than Mother Nature, and we think that we've got a better plan, and we are slapped on the wrist many times,
over and over and over again.
Yep, organic farming, natural farming, it can be done. It takes work, but it can be done. And let's face it, wouldn't you rather have something that didn't have chemicals in it?
Well, I think that yes. I mean, if you give someone a choice, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the best combinations are the people who just do best practices
Right.
and don't care anything about getting certified organic.
Yeah.
I think
And
there's
that's
a lot
very
of
common.
vineyards out there
Very common.
that you would be really proud of their practices, but they just don't have any interest in the labels.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to note here is that I've had my thumb securing this the entire time I took the cage off. I think this is very important. I see this often where people take that cage off and they are not protecting this cork. There's a reason that cage is on there, because the corks can fly
That's
off.
not an ornament, is it?
No, it's not an attractive accoutrement. So this is an actual functioning, saving your eyeball safety feature.
Or light fixtures.
Or light fixtures,
Right.
or ceiling tiles, or whatever it may be. So please keep this protected once that cage comes off, okay? And another little tip for you, don't twist up here. You can break the cork. Twist the bottle and hold the cork, okay? And just give a little rocking back left and right, and you can feel this will be rising in your hand. And just let it bring itself right up. There,
Perfect.
that's a pretty good opening. You actually don't want that pop unless you're just having fun and showing off. There's nothing wrong with that.
Or starting a race.
But if you're just going to open one, control is sexy. Having control of that cork, it shows that you know what you're doing. And as a sommelier, I don't want it to pop tableside unless the customer says, hey, you know what, we want everybody in the room to look at us, so make it pop. Most people don't really want everybody in the dining room to look at them, so we don't pop it. But I want you to notice right away, look at that beautiful mousse. And this is great because this is Chardonnay, just like if you were a Blanc de Blanc in Champagne. This is actual Chardonnay. You can have a Blanc de Blanc that's not Chardonnay in different regions of the world. They just have to be a white grape to be a Blanc de Blanc. And there's nothing wrong with them not being a Blanc de Blanc. It just gives you an idea of what you're getting into. And hey, cheers to...
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It continues.
Merry January.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Not everybody watches a lot of kids movies like I do. I've always had to do. But, the Madagascar series. You've at least probably seen the commercials with the animated.
Yeah.
Well, they put out a Christmas edition a few years ago, and the little ferret or whatever it is that rules the island of Madagascar. The voice, I mean, he's wonderful. It's actually what's his name? Borat does the voice of.
Yeah, I can't remember his actual name.
But he calls himself King Julian. And instead of Christmas, he calls it Merry Julian Annuary.
Ah, yes.
So it's all about him,
yeah,
and not about Santa Claus. So
right.
We'll just
or Jesus.
Yeah, Merry Julian Annuary.
Yeah,
and that way we can just.
We got the whole month to celebrate. And boy, what beautiful fruit concentration here! Like apple, pear, peach, apricot, just
every single one of those. Every single one of those.
Incredibly fruity. And at the same time, dry. So you don't worry. This is not going to be a juicy, fruity kind of wine. This is more. It's lean, but boy, it packs a lot of intense flavors. And what a bargain! $15. You got to be kidding me.
Good gracious, $15.
Actually, I can probably do better than that.
$14.99? Are you kidding me?
I think we're going to go lower than that. I think we can do better than that. If we get a couple cases, we'll do a little bit less. Maybe, I don't know, 13. But this is delicious. And this is the kind of wine at this price you can just stash some bottles, and when someone comes over, have one in the fridge and 5 on reserve. And when someone comes over and you want. Especially, like somebody comes over and maybe they're not the the best conversationalists. They're not spunky. They're not. It's like entertaining.
You're always having to prod them.
Yeah. They're not entertaining like you. Bubbles tend to kind of get people out of their shell.
That's a true story. It really does.
It kind of ramps up the situation in a positive way.
It's hard to kind of be demure when you're drinking bubbles.
That's right.
You want to hop into life, jump right into life.
Wow, that is yummy. I bet Becca is circling around outside the door.
Well, she's incredibly worried that it's going to go flat before she gets her shot at this.
Yeah, she's. If you don't know, Becca is our manager of 5 different departments, I guess, because of all the hats she wears. But she's our office manager. She's our assistant floor manager. She's our catering manager. She's our
executive in charge of printing.
Yeah. It goes on and on and on. Wine Club is
Wine Club.
Wine Club is the biggie. By the way, we got a big wine club coming up in February.
Yes, we do. And mark your calendars. We need to do a virtual one for that.
We will do a virtual one. Yes, chef.
Because with the those wines and chocolates.
Wines and chocolate are coming, kiddos.
All around Valentine's, tis the season.
But Becca, if we had a director or producer, she would certainly wear that hat too.
She would. She's helped us out of a lot of glitches.
But she only drinks white. She has a red wine allergy, so whenever she sees us coming up here with white wine, she's like...
She was overly interested when she saw the bubbles coming out. What are you doing there? I mean, normally she's like, when are y'all going to be done? Just so she can have her space back.
Yeah, we do invader space.
Well, today... it was none of that. It was an awful lot of interest in the nuances of that bottle.
Yep.
Meaning how much is going to be left for her.
Well,
that's the translation.
It's going to be hard to let go of this bottle.
Well, luckily you said a lot of nice things about her, so that maybe
that's enough.
Maybe that's enough.
Yeah. In lieu
of wine, a compliment.
Well, Chef, this I would imagine it's very versatile as a wine, and when I was doing some sommelier training in Columbus, Ohio, one of the master somms there swore up and down that champagne, you could serve every course of a meal. You could take bubbles from the start to the finish. So there's versatility as well in bubbles.
Well, who are we to countermand his?
Right. So what do you think you're going to throw at this?
Well, I'm going a more traditional route. I don't think I'm going to put a rack of lamb with this.
Right.
But we're going to do a little quiche.
Nice.
I think that'll be...
Well, you haven't done one of those in forever.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but we're going to incorporate a little shrimp and goat cheese in our quiche. I think it's going to be lovely. Which transcends a lot of things. You could serve it for breakfast, for brunch, for lunch.
Oh yeah.
Or with some hearty soup at dinner. So
yes.
I mean, quiche runs the gamut. So you can pretty much feel confident about eggs.
Yeah. Are you gonna get back into making quiches again?
Mm-hmm.
I remember, what was it, probably 2 years ago, we used to have it on the menu.
Every day.
A quiche
salad.
Quiche salad,
yeah.
A little salad.
Always. A little cup of soup. I made those chicken and 3 cheese quiches right at the end of last week and froze them. And I'm going to bring those back out for the weekend too. I think we might slide those for some family meals. Maybe you can hock some bubbles to go along with it.
Yeah, that would be a great pairing. Absolutely. So there you go. Tomorrow, because we are filming today is Wednesday, a very chilly Wednesday.
Sun's out, but it's brisk. It's deceiving.
Yeah, it was 25 degrees to start out. But we've thawed out. Now we're drinking some beautiful cold wine with you. And I hope you're enjoying your Thursday.
Hard not to, with some bubbles and quiche. Cheers.
Wow, that is lovely. Absolutely zero bitter on that at all.
I was ready for the bitter.
Yeah.
I was, and not all bitter's bad.
No, not at all.
But this is not the.
Got my wine too.
It's not the French mushroomy camembert bubbles. The dryness of it to me. Just it makes me want more of it. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
you know, some champagnes and proseccos and sparklings can be really rich, and they make you not want to have a lot of it. Which, you know, shame on them, because you want to have something you'd want to have a lot of, and that makes you want more and more.
Well, actually, off screen there, I'm gonna pour me some more because that is
I don't mind if you do.
that is lovely.
Well, there's a few more ounces that Becca won't get.
Yeah, don't tell her.
I won't. She'll never see this as she reviews it in a few minutes to make sure we can post it.
Yeah, she's the one that does our menus and puts our web address on there for YouTube that this is posted on. Well, of course, until we get banned from YouTube.
Won't be long.
Yeah. Social media banning everybody. Redunculous.
Well, what if you said something dangerous, like buy more wine?
That's just
Or
enough.
enjoy your January. I mean, that's some
If we had
edgy
the
stuff.
technology, I would have one of those little censored things over your mouth. I mean,
We're gonna figure out how to do that.
one of these days we're gonna.
I probably would have gotten banned for saying that Christmas should last longer than the day of Christmas. I mean, I'm already in hot water with the mob.
Yeah, probably. Now this is we're moving on to red, a beautiful blend. Syrah, Grenache, and Cat. And Chris and I are big fans of Warsaw as a
Lovely, thank you.
as a winery. They are from Spain, and I think they just do a killer job with so many different things. They have very approachable pricing, and you know, these are all their whole portfolio is sub 20, and as you can see, beautiful color here. And if you had the scratch and sniff app on your TV or monitor there, you would be able to smell this. Beautiful, toasty, nice, huh?
Yeah.
Silky.
That is all working, my friend. The silk is real on this.
There's really
No rough edges.
Yeah.
Not an ounce.
The
of
bang for the
roughness on
buck.
this.
It almost
Again, out of Spain.
Out of Spain, and it has some of those kind of pyrazines that I typically expect from cabs from California. There's those kind of notes in there, but it still, again, tastes like Spain. Spanish wines, no matter what style they're trying to throw at you, they can't hide their terroir, and I think that's fascinating about this area.
That's true. But this tastes more like an 80s style California cab before everybody got drunk on making them fruit bombs.
Yeah.
This is balanced, and I used to describe California cabs as silky, but you better be prepared to spend $100 if you want a silky California cab now. But this goes to show you, shop around, because people are still out there appreciating the value of silk and complexity and balance in their reds, and they still be big. And this is a big wine.
It really is.
But you don't have to, you don't have to hype yourself up to take a sip of it.
No, you don't.
So,
Well, I think
it's just rewarding.
Well, I've already taken 3 sips in about 20 seconds. So if that doesn't tell you, this is one of those wines where when you get a sip, you put it down, you're immediately picking it back up. It's so delicious.
Yes. I hope Becca doesn't think she's getting this.
Luckily, she can't.
True.
She would just be.
Break out in hives.
No, she pukes.
Oh.
This
Poor thing.
is really, really pretty. Dark fruits. Certainly, there's some red fruit in there.
A little bit of red.
You have the. You have oak influence here. Here is French oak, which is. That's kind of where they're trying to make a more modern California style here, using French oak. Spanish really like American oak. And another thing that I think Italy and Spain using American oak really sets them apart, because California, they love French oak,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, the French love their oak. They're not. They would. You would. I would. I'm curious if there's ever been an American oak wine made in France.
I know there
They'd
is.
probably be.
I know there is. I know it for a fact. It's just they would never admit it.
They would never.
And what they do is they wheel it by the French oak to say it had contact.
Yeah.
And then they do the rest on American oak. And you know, too, in this day and age, you know, half the chateaus in France are owned by Americans or Chinese or Australians. I mean, you know, it's not really a French industry as much as it used to be. For an industry that prides itself on Homerism, you know, there's a lot of French chateaus that don't have French anything.
That's true.
Except for the land.
That's true.
So I would venture to say it's probably not widespread by any means,
Right.
but you know, there's a mad scientist out there. So
There's one. He's the
let's try
rebel. That rebel out there. That is beautiful, silky. Like I said, it has some nice oak influence on it, but the oak is not what's driving this flavor profile. But I'm sure that's what helps soften the edges. I'm sure that's what gives it that subtlety of vanilla that's way down. It's not the primary source of flavor here.
It's a soft vanilla.
I don't know if there's a cab lover out there that wouldn't love this.
They need to denounce themselves as cab lovers if they don't love that.
Even though it is a blend, I really do. It's really about the flavor. We get wrapped up too much on.
Great point.
We create this sense of loyalty to grapes or wineries, and that's great. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy other things.
True.
You know, I'm glad that we have so much loyalty to Old North State's wines. But those people also need to enjoy other wines, as well as other people that are like way into Stag's Leap need to enjoy Old North State wines, and so on and so forth, or Spanish wines, or whatever it may be. I think we kind of get in a rut a little bit with what we drink, or what we think we only drink, and we miss out on some things. Most people that drink California Cab would never pick this bottle up.
Not in a million years. So they would look down their nose at it. They would say, "There's no way this would be, you know, the quality or the profile that I enjoy." When I would venture to say that it would probably be very eye-opening. And you know, if you're serious about anything, you know, and just throw out the item of the day, you would welcome into your repertoire all sorts of things, whether it's food. I mean, you know, please go eat other place. I love it when people say I went to this other place, because not only does that expand their repertoire, it makes them appreciate what we do, because you see how differently someone else may do it, and I think it makes us all stronger.
Absolutely.
So, you know, enjoying other wines or exploring and learning about other wines doesn't diminish anyone's wines, and I think the opposite is true. It makes your appreciation of all the wines come up.
Absolutely. And so, boy, if you can't appreciate this one, and
bring it over to me. I'll tell you what, you don't appreciate that. I mean, I'll take that off your hands.
And so this is I don't know if I said this. This is just a blend called Barola. That's just what they named the blend. It's kind of like like the Prisoner. It's you when you have something, you kind of give it a name. It's not a particular grape, and so that's a marketing thing. But Borsau as a winery, just amazing things, and
top to bottom. I mean, year after year, the consistency.
What was that? Tres Picos?
Tres
Picos had on your list forever at
Tres
Trio?
Picos had a little bicycle and stuff on it. I mean, just so good. I don't know if they still do, but they used to. But Tres Picos was one of those great wines too, because you know, especially back then. Thank you. I was a little nervous how far away from me it was, but I'm comforted now.
Your security is safe.
Thank you for thinking of me. You know, back then, good Lord, you know, you're looking at a long time ago, but I had to hand sell that. But the beauty of my little place was you could hand sell anything, because it was so small. You know,
and you had that nice chest where the
nice chest, and you know, let's be honest, 70% of the people that came in were just regulars who came in all the time. So I could hand sell anything. And so I was able to put a lot of wines in front of people who would have never in a million years got any of the wines I put in front of them. So that was a great advantage, and I think something you enjoy here with your audience, not just on Thursdays, but the time you spend at the table in the dining room. I mean, and it's funny, I talk to wine reps when you're not around, and we just marvel. They're like, nobody can sell this stuff. And we're bringing in case after case after case, and like, we can't give this stuff away because nobody can hand sell it.
Yeah.
And people don't understand the value of what you do in terms of, I mean, not just the knowledge and the attention you give to people, but what it does for obscure wines.
Well,
I mean, it's wonderful because it makes the Main Street wines better.
Yeah.
It brings up their profile because you can compare them to a more international repertoire, and I think it makes everybody else look better, not the opposite.
Right. And I'm a huge fan of wine, a huge fan of food, and I can't stand the thought of people going through life not understanding how many great things are out there. And no matter how obscure it is and how limited supply it is, I think that we all deserve that chance to experience it. And, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find all those experiences in bottles out there.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm enjoying this experience today like I do every single one of them. And you and I drink a lot of wine together off camera. And I remember all of them.
It's
fun. And
fun.
I have something to say about all of them. I mean, not me, something to say. I mean, I have something good to say.
I got something
to say about this grape. I mean, in a good way. I mean, I can see a label from across the room and tell you a story.
Right.
And I love that.
Yeah, that is fun.
I mean, I love that. I mean, and you'll come back and you'll say, hey, you remember how big? Yes. And then it'll start a big conversation between. It's such a conversation starter.
Absolutely.
And funny, it kind of leads into, we're giving social media a hard time. Because, they can do what they want at private companies. And I think we rely too much on social media. I love social media. I love seeing people's kids. I love seeing the memes, and I love...
The memes are the best.
The memes are great, and it's fun if you want it to be. But it's not fun anymore because everybody's up in arms about something. But I tell you...
It gets negative quickly.
I wouldn't mind seeing a big pullback from our dependency on... Social media was never, in my opinion, supposed to be how we communicate with other human beings. It was never meant to be the only vehicle that we use to communicate with the outside world. To me, it's a great way to say, so your dad who lives in Fayetteville, who we don't text, but I get to see what he did today.
Yeah.
He gets to see the fish I caught yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
It was
like,
a
because
widow,
I
by
would
the way.
not, like,
It's like-
your dad would not pick up his phone and call me and say, let me tell you about the blueberry bushes today.
Right.
But I got to see it.
Exactly.
And people who have hijacked social media for all these nefarious and angry things, I welcome a return to these conversations being in homes and in the neighborhoods, because you know what? These people who think they're tough behind go say that
behind the keyboard. Yeah.
Go say that what you were going to say to somebody's face, and the second time they got a good slapping and drag down the steps, they're going to quit acting a fool.
Yeah.
And the people who act like they do on social media would never in a million years act like that in a room with their peers.
I agree. But let's
say anything on social media you wouldn't say to someone's face, because if someone held you to task in front of you, I guarantee you, not as many people would be saying it.
And let's not forget what really made social media huge was people taking picture of food. It is the single thing that, everybody takes pictures
Everybody
of their
wants to
food.
see their food and their wine.
And that's let's get to the important stuff here. Taking pictures of food
and wine.
Yeah.
Because we are on a lot of wine sites.
Yeah.
And food, and that's what I log on to do. I want to see puppies. I want to see children.
Definitely puppies.
I want to see jokes. I want to see your garden. I want to see what you were drinking and eating last week. And, you know, I want to celebrate your new job. I want to cry with you if you lose a loved one. You know, I don't,
Yeah.
you know,
That's about,
I mean, that's,
let's get back to the core.
and not to say, you know, this whole, you can't say what you want. Well, actually you can. It's just you have to pick and choose. I mean, you know, you can't, you know, in a private business, like there's certain people we don't allow in here.
Sure.
Because we're a private business and we operate how we want to. And I'm sure and I know actually, we've upset a lot of people over the last 8 or 9 months because we do some things that, you know, it's not a free for all.
Yeah.
Well, we live in a society of law and private rights. And, you know, the First Amendment gives us a huge swath of latitude, but it is not a blanket latitude. And so I welcome the return of, well, after vaccines.
Right.
You know, I miss, you know, you and I take it for granted because, you know, we say the worst things in the world to each other and we would never.
Definitely not recorded.
Not recorded. But, you know, we're not going to be like, you're not going to believe what it is. I mean, well, hash it out. Hash it out.
That's
you know,
right.
You don't need to blast everybody all the time. Just like you have so much to be appreciative of.
Yes.
And we have so many. Nobody remembers what we have.
Right.
People only remember the fringes. And it just drives me insane.
We're spoiled.
Now, if they had Mary Julie January, maybe they wouldn't be so fired up. Just settle down, have some brie. Good Lord.
Absolutely. If we can consume finer things, I think our attitudes change.
Well, and if we could consume finer things and appreciate more, and you're good about this when I'm not, and you always bring me back to earth.
We don't catch each other.
We don't spend enough time every day when we wake up being grateful for what we have. The abundance that every person in this country has and enjoys. And, you know, somebody paid for that with their life.
Yep.
And, you know, for us to wake up every day like spoiled toddlers and act a fool, I think disgraces that. And that's not to say anything goes.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to keep it all between the ditches. But there's a lot of good between the ditches.
There really is.
A lot of wine and food in between these ditches.
Speaking of food, what do you want to throw at this?
Well, you know, we got that Brasstown beef tenderloin.
Are you really doing that?
Well, we do because, you know, I can't serve the tail and the head on the center of the plate. But you know what I can do with it?
$37.
You know what I can do with it? Serve it to the beautiful people who appreciate great wines and food and our comedic value.
Definitely comedic.
So we're going to have some beautiful tenderloin. I'm going to make a little mushroom duxelle with it.
Nice.
It's going to be great with this silky wine.
Oh.
If it's not, lie to me and tell me it was great.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. Brasstown continues to give us, all of our customers, a great joy.
Well, and they're another company that appreciates value, despite their price point. Because I mean, they're on the higher spectrum because they're local and their processes demand it because they put the time in. But just like earlier today when we were doing the Wagyu, the Virginia Wagyu, I mean, you picked it up and you're like, my God, the lip and the cap are off. I mean, you know, there's, you know, a lot of times when you get, you know, even commercial Angus, I mean, you're trimming that thing for half an hour before you get to something usable. And here you are, one of the highest end beefs in the world, and they took that trim off and didn't charge you.
Yep.
Same thing on those Brasstown tenderloins.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fully denuded.
Right.
But, I mean,
really
it takes like 13 seconds
Yeah.
to get that tenderloin from the cryovac to steak ready.
That's beautiful.
And so, I mean, that speaks volumes.
On top of the quality.
That speaks volumes to us. I mean, the quality speaks for itself, and you don't mind paying that. But for them to recognize the waste and the frustration of the waste and to pass not pass that along
Yeah.
is tremendous.
And usually, just
We like to
you,
reward that.
for you non-chefs or non-butchers out there, typically you're going to lose a minimum of 30% up to 40% on a fillet as a
Easy.
whole.
When you
you're-
take that
you're breaking
chain
it down.
off, it's just gone.
Yep. And so when you see that price per pound, it doesn't always translate to actual on the plate stuff. So into the world of the chef's mind, there you know we're getting into the economic
The
side.
economic side of it.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and also you know, no one likes waste. You know, no chef, no manager, no anyone of conscience likes waste. No one wants to go and buy something, bring it home, and throw 30% of it away. And so, and it's my way, and I hope this is true. But you know, we all, you know, we probably do more than most people do because we know how to take scraps and make something out of it. We know how to make stocks. We know how to make pâtés. We know how to make sauces. I wish we were grinding meat. You used to grind meat at Old Mill all the time. You take all your scraps and make burgers. We don't do that here. We may down the road, but even then you have to collect for a long time because of ratios.
Yeah.
And so even taking a fat cap or a lip or a chain off, I mean, that's not burger ready. I mean, you have to put that and you have to freeze it and you have to wait and get your good meats mixed in with your fat ratio, and it takes forever.
If you want that 80-20, if
yeah,
you want that
which everybody
93-7,
wants. And you know,
do
it's
you want
hard
that,
to
or
do.
do you want to go with that 75-25,
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's
the
hard to
diners
do.
use?
Yeah, right.
Talk about a quick visit to the bathroom.
If hopefully you make it. But you know, hopefully these places, and which I'm sure they're doing, they're saving the fat caps and mixing it with the other, and they're putting out their own. You know, obviously Brasstown and Avoca offer a really high-end line of ground.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of that, even though still they can still pass that along at $30 a pound
Sure.
if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they're not, and you know, so they're reusing that to have zero waste, and they're putting it into their ground, and it's fabulous because you get a great mixture of your ground, but also they're not, you know, people of pride don't want to send that to make $1 for us to throw it away.
Right. And we actually got in a couple of beautiful Wagyu
Stunning.
for two of our.
Stunning.
This is another thing that we, you know, everybody knows that we do a lot of market stuff, seafood. We've been doing a lot of Wagyu lately, and we've had a couple of people that are coming to pick some up today. And I could not believe the marbling on those things.
Stunning.
It was crazy.
I talked to a fella yesterday. He was giving me some more background. You know, and I knew the base story. This farm, right outside of Paris, Virginia. You know, a real boutique farm, but you know they've been farming since the 1800s, but they haven't been really offering it.
Right.
But they had one of the first. Their breed marks back to the very first of 5 Wagyu animals that came to the United States into Texas in the 80s.
Wow.
Their lineage is those first 5. And they're one of only, I think, 2 farms in the country that can claim lineage to those first Wagyus.
Yeah.
And they've never broken from that lineage.
Right.
And so I was even impressed before. But the more I learn about them, you know, the happier we are with supporting them. And clearly, you know, our customers appreciate it because they buy a lot of it out the door.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah, they keep coming back.
These aren't first-time buyers.
And, you
by
know,
the way.
these aren't, you know, we're not talking about, you know, a couple of nice steaks here. I mean, you're talking about, good gracious.
But you know, also
you just spent my, you spent a monthly allotment of what I'd spend on something on a.
Sure.
And
they're not cheap, but they're special, and when you have family together and you want to do something special and enjoy your family time together or friend time together, that's a great way to do it.
It's a great way to do it, and you know it is. I mean, maybe not everybody would say this, but I think it's memorable. I think it's worth the money.
It's
I mean,
absolutely memorable.
I mean,
you don't forget.
I was so worried when we first started doing it because we're selling a steak.
I thought you were crazy for offering.
Like, all right, here's a steak for $50. No
Chris
one's
is
gonna
like,
buy it.
I have to get in on it because if you don't get in, they only allow so many chefs in.
Yep.
And if you're in the beginning, the initiation, you can stay in.
We're part of their pilot program.
So part of the pilot, and now people are a mile long on the waiting list, and I thought he was crazy. And we sold out the first weekend.
$50 a pop for a steak.
We ran out the first week, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Not only
it didn't even make it through Saturday night.
No, it didn't.
And now we're trying to build a bigger repertoire of it, and we can't keep it because we're selling so much out the door. We can't even get it on the dinner menu.
That's true.
It's like, well, we took our whole allotment that we were going to run for specials.
What are you doing? Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, you're 2 to 1 of me over there.
Don't you have to?
Yes, I do.
Is there something you need to prepare in the kitchen?
I do. I have to go to the store. I have to feed my family. I got to clean out my van. It's a mess.
With a flamethrower?
It needs it.
Yeah.
It needs it.
Well,
it didn't do well on our little trip up to Banner Elk, and I need to go spray it off too before it freezes again. But now, not everybody can sport a 2005 Kia
and look sexy.
And cheers.
Cheers to that. Well, hey, this was an exceptionally long video, and I appreciate you listening to us ramble more than ever before.
That's what you tune in for, right?
Yeah. We never know. We don't rehearse these things. We just let the wine do the talking.
As it should be.
Absolutely. And we appreciate y'all every single week, even if we don't, necessarily talk about wine, but we talk.
We got some wine talking.
We got some wine talking.
We did.
And we look forward to seeing y'all right here next week, or possibly right here in the restaurant. We continue to do our tastings, and we will continue to do that until, well, forever probably.
God, I hope so.
Wouldn't that be
promise?
Great? Yeah, doesn't that be great?
It would be.
This is why we do the job. We love wine, we love food, we love chatting, and thank you for this format to do it.
We'll continue to do it, and one feeds the other.
That's right. Y'all have a great week, and we will see you soon.
Take care. Thank you.